This map first impressions video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Wola Zabierzowska. I give full credit to Google Translate for helping me with that pronunciation. So if there are any Polish viewers out there that can tell me that I completely butchered that, let me know because, well, Google Translate didn't do such a good job. So this map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub. This map is available for all platforms and for PC players, at least for now. This map does have a snow mask installed. Let me read a little bit of the description. It says, welcome to Wola Zabierzowska, a big Polish map for Farming Simulator 19. On this map, you'll find over 200 fields. That is right, people. I think this map has 211 numbered fields. Each of them is buyable separately. There are 4 farms, several sell points, 4 villages, traffic, pedestrians, and much, much more. So let's go ahead and jump on in here to pick up the mods that we will typically use for our videos. Go. Pull up the log. So I activated the animal pen extension and the more field info because hopefully that'll help us with respect to field sizes, and we'll see if maybe some of these animal areas have support for the animal pen extension by default. Alright guys, so here we are in the map. Let's go ahead and pull up the PDA, and wowzers, there are a ton of fields. In fact, you can see down here 211. That's the biggest number that I can see here. If we take a look at the lands area, you can see that we start out with a few fields. So we've got field 115 up here with a farmhouse and the chicken farm, as well as 104, 105, 107, 111, and 113. These are pretty darn small fields. $9,400, $8,300, $96 or $9,500. Area 115 is a whopping $27,800. We also start with a forest right here, $17,000. And then we own also the pig farm for $13,000. Field 92, 90, 88, and 87. In addition, there is an arable farm. Sorry, that's not an arable farm. This is a sheep farm that you could buy for $22,800. There is a horse area up here attached to field 61. And then we have the cow farm over here for $30,000, $500. Let's see here. We've got maybe the biggest field on the map is area 86, which is a whopping $250,000. But most of these fields are going to be well under $100,000 as far as purchase price goes. Take a look here at, let's go back here. See, we have our standard crops here on the map. We have 3 main sell points for most of our crops. We also have multiple sell points for sugarcane. Now, if you're playing with seasons, you're going to need to supply your own geo if you want to use sugarcane or cotton. We have a sell point for eggs and milk. We also have the barn, which will accept silage, hay, straw, and grass, as well as a buyable BGA. Let's go back here and take a look at that. BGA is up here. $60,000 will buy you the BGA. We also have up here at the top, these appear to be grass fields. And then these are forests here on the side. Big forest area, $513,000, $236,000, and so forth. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting equipment. So we start out with a Fendt Vario 313 and a Valtra A114. So our tractors range in horsepower from 110 to 138 horsepower. We have the Bison Super Z056 as our beginning harvester with the Z056 harvest grain header. Got the HW80 trailer, Salford 4204 plow. Got the Raw Polymag 300 cultivator, the D830 Amazon seeder. Got the Kuhn 3-point hitch fertilize sprayer. Got the AGCO 650 weight, and then we get into the placeables. Now, I will tell you, if you start this up on Farm Manager or start from scratch, it's kind of an interesting experience. You don't own any land, you don't own any farm buildings, but your equipment. So you have all of this equipment is still owned, but none of these houses and other placeables exist. So that's kind of an interesting experience. I don't know if that is a mistake or why that is, but when we start looking at these farms, if you do something other than New Farmer, which is what we are in here, the buildings won't be there, but the equipment will be. So we do have a modded cow pasture, pig enclosure, sheep pasture, and horse paddock, as well as chicken coops. So we've got modded, all of the animal areas are modded, and we can sell them all off should we so wish. We've got a grain silo. We've got some modded grain silos, some silage bunkers, then modded buildings, fences, decorative objects, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 modded farmhouses. So if you don't want to have your farm, you don't want to have your sleep trigger at one of these spots, 1, 2, 3, or 4, you're going to have to sell off those 4 farmhouses before you can put your own sleep trigger down. Let's take a look at the placeables area and see if we can buy any of these placeables that are custom. So we can indeed buy the custom cow, pig, sheep, horse, and chicken coop. See if we can buy the couple of the custom silos and a couple different size small bunker silos. Can buy a whole ton of decorative objects. We have the custom sheds that are at the various farms that we could purchase. And we could also purchase the custom farmhouses. So if we do start from scratch or new farmer mode, we can build out the farms exactly how they are now, or change it up a little bit with the mods that are built into the map, or we could put in our own. Let's start by going down here to the pig farm and just kind of taking a look around. Here we have our pig farm silo. So we have the dump point here. You have the fill trigger right there. You have the farmhouse right here. Pull up the F1 menu, so there you can see the sleep trigger. Have some Voltra is in there. And we have our harvester and our harvest header. We're here at the pig farm. So here is the animal pen extension, valve, and spout. So it does not appear that this custom animal area has integrated support for animal pen extension. But of course, if you want to use animal pen extension, you can move these around to wherever you want if you activate that mod. Just activate it to see if there was custom support for that. Here we have our straw trigger, as well as our animal buy trigger. Of course, we do own this area from the start. So we have our water trough. This is probably going to be our slurry fill trigger. We have our manure pile. And we have the food trough, which is going to be also inside this shed. That pretty much is the pig farm. Oh, sorry. Totally goofed that up. The food trough is over here on this side of that animal area. Taking a look at that. It's kind of interesting. Interesting porch. Guess they don't have safety regulations in Poland. You could basically have that without having to worry about needing a railing. So let's go up here to the next farm, which is the sheep pasture. Now, this farm we do not own from the start. It is $22,800. Here is our farmhouse. There, once again, you can see we have the sleep trigger. Lots of room for farm equipment up here at the sheep farm. I don't think this farm actually has any of the equipment in it because, again, we don't own this farm from the start. But we can open the gates without having to buy the farm. It's nice to see. Go. Then the farm silo is around back. So here is the standard in-game farm silo. So of course, we have the dump trigger and the fill trigger. And then over here we have the custom sheep enclosure. So again, we have the fill spout and valve for the animal pen extension. This modded animal pen does not include support for this from the get-go, but with the animal pen extension, you can come in here in-game and position that should you so wish to use it. Saw our food trough, our water trough. I'm going to guess that our wool is going to spawn within this building. We have our animal buy trigger for our sheep. So interesting enough, we can buy the sheep without having to own that particular animal area. Let's go up here and check out the chicken farm. Once again, we have our farmhouse with the sleep trigger. Here at the chicken farm, we have our custom chicken area here. We have our food trough. Got some bunnies also. Just come up all the way up here to the chicken house to get the trigger to buy our chickens. And I'm sure they will just roam around. Yep, there he is, way over there. Inside here we have our seeder. We have our sprayer. We have a couple pallets of liquid fertilizer and a couple pallets of seed. Like how these buildings have doors that we can open and obviously gates we can open up. Got our cultivator, our plow. This is that heap of wood chips that we can sell. We can really make these farms our very, very own, should we so wish. Full use of all kinds of this stuff. There's our weight. This would be a great little building if we had a placeable, if we used a placeable maintenance trigger. Store that in there. That is the chicken farm. Let's go down over here to the cow farm. So once again, we have our sleep trigger. Farmhouse here at the cow farm. More of these great custom buildings. I have to say, I don't know why, but I seem to have a fondness for these Polish maps. Maybe it's just the vast abundance of the fields. Maybe it's that these maps tend to seem to have a whole ton of detail in them. I don't know. Here we have our custom cow area. We've got our slurry and our manure pit. We have what looks like the straw trigger. Then in here we have what appears to be the food trigger. Also have the animal buy trigger here. Get one of those. Looking for where maybe the milk might be. So once again we have the water trough. And again, just as a frame of reference, I activated the animal pin extension just to see if it had support within the custom animal areas. It does not, but with the animal pin extension, you can go and maneuver this and use it. Just have to place it in-game if you wish to use that. Around over here we have a custom silage pit and our custom grain silo. Still looking for that elusive milk trigger. And by these milk jugs, by golly, I think we have found it. Here we have the milk trigger. And we also do not own the cow farm basically at the start. So again, we own the pig farm and we own the chicken farm at the start. We do not own the cow farm, the sheep farm, or the horse area. So with that, I think what we're going to do next is prep for a map flyover, and then we'll kind of get a good overall view of how these 211 fields are laid out, how big they are, kind of the lay of the land. Let's take to the sky a little bit. See right here, field 148. Thanks to the wonderful field info mod. See, that is 8.52 acres. $15,900 per acre, and has a land area of 9.59 acres associated with it. Let's get a little bit higher. Bring up the full PDA. You can see where you're facing north to the distillery, and actually seeing the distillery makes me want to come up here. So we do have contracts, and when I was going around doing a little bit of kind of field work, if you will, research before the video, I had a transport contract for the distillery, and I did have an L110 error related to, I guess, the English language for that particular contract. So it does appear that there may be some English language aspects that may be missing with the map. So there is the cow area. Now we are facing, I guess, east, south, west, then of course north. So what we're going to do is the shop is basically in that general direction. So we are going to, there's the shop. So we're going to basically make our way around so that we end at the shop. And we will buy the Mahindra and do a little bit of a drive-through so we can kind of get a little better perspective at more of a land level. Here we have the animal dealer. And then off here we have those forests along the edge of the map. So one forest seems to be younger younger growth, shorter trees, and then we have the older growth here behind it. This map would be a perfect map for the small equipment farmer, someone who was looking to get into a map that really didn't need to require a full-on commitment like a 4X map would, where you've got super huge fields. Here we've got the BGA. Here's that big expensive forest that I think was about $500,000. Coming up here to the distillery. It also looks like a lot of these fields, if you really wanted to, you could combine them. So here's those grass plots that were off to the north. Kind of got what looks like a flood berm. I don't know what the technical term for that is. Here we have the chicken farm that we already took a look at. Like a sell point for sugar beets or root crops. Making our way over here to grain elevator east. Again, we have more of those forests on the edge of the map here. So there's grain elevator east, which is a sell point. Around here, we have our horse area. Let's go ahead and touch down. Take a look at the horse area. And once again, we have our valve and spout. These are available for us to place. They are not embedded. Support for the animal pen extension is not included as a base aspect of the map. We have our food trough. Water trough obviously is over there. Straw trigger. And then our animal dialogue. Right there. Continue on. Here we have the sell point for the dairy. We have the arable farm, which we... Sorry, this isn't the arable farm. This is the sheep farm. Sawmill. Here's a big old field 86, the biggest field on the map. We have the barn, the hay, straw, grass, and silage sell point. We have the lowly fuel station down here by the pig farm. It's a fuel station. Spinnery. And then the shop. Down here at the shop we have our customize and sell trigger. We also have a lime trigger there. And then we have a really cool decked out shop in here, complete with some parts. And we've got the customize repair trigger. Then we have the shop trigger right there. Apparently when we get out of the shop trigger, we are thrown across the shop. Let's go ahead and on back out here. Let's get our Mahindra and do a bit of a drive around. Close out the video. Again, we're going to pull up the giant PDA with all of these fields. There's roads all over the place also, kind of interconnecting everything. Here we have selling station 2. One of those buy triggers for our crops. Here we have the sell point, and then a nice road that we can loop out. Come back out here. Pretty nice. I guess since we did our flyover, let's do the drive around kind of more in a first person perspective. The map is not flat, but it's also not mountainy, super hilly. I would say that you're going to find that the fields kind of have a rolling hills feel to them. It's just cut up through this road, and you can kind of see how that looks. Coming down here into the cow farm. Kind of soft, subtle rolling hills. Let's loop back around to the animal dealer. Which is just over in that direction. Gate, and there we have our animal trigger. So we can put various animals into various pins that we already own or that are already placed on the map. Again, we seem to be able to make use of the animal areas that we do not own. There you can kind of see the two forests, shorter trees in front and the taller trees behind. This kind of gives you a good perspective of those rolling hills. So they're not flat, but they're not super hilly either. Kind of a nice rolling terrain. Again, a really great map for maybe small equipment, maybe some older styled equipment. I've been saying that I was waiting for a map that I could do a rustic or a nostalgic type farm with older looking farm buildings and older farm equipment, and I would say this map would probably suit that bill pretty well. So that is a little bit of a disappointment. There's my prerequisite floaties. Looks like a lot of the stuff down here at the BGA is floating above the ground. So car looks like that. This does. Pallets. This gravel or dirt. Refuse next to the BGA. Here we have our BGA. Silage dump point. Our digestate fill trigger. And for two large silage bunkers. The chaff trigger. The other chaff trigger. And that's interesting. We have a miniature. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this very well, but this silage bunker, the trigger extends all the way over here to this wall. This wall does have a collision on it, but the actual silage trigger goes all the way over to here. Then we have one there, goes over to there. So I think the silage trigger for this bunker right here, it could be narrowed up a bit more to be more in line with the walls. Yeah, half of a mind to drive through this forest just to check it out. You know, I kind of got a thing also for, nice, thick, deep forest. Pretty good foliage there at the bottom. Kind of forest growth. Shockingly well-maintained forest road, given the amount of underbrush growth there in the old forest and the new trees there alike. Not having any real problems with frames through here. Sometimes I have problems with OBS wanting to do frame drops as kind of I go through a densely forested area, but we didn't seem to have any of those issues here. Let's loop back around, and instead of following the road off to the right, we're going to go ahead and take this road to the north. According to the description, the map has, I guess, 4 small villages. One up here to the distillery. This is one of the sell points. It does have custom missions. Here we have the cell trigger. Kind of a steep ramp up here. I don't think you're going to be coming up here with semis or anything, just given the kind of the scale of the map and everything, but still a pretty steep climb. Try to come up there with a small tractor, maybe a full trailer. Come up over the embankment here. This is what then gets us down here to these 8 grass fields and along the river. It's kind of cool. And these are some of those fields that we own. We don't own all of these, but we do own a fair number. And quite frankly, given the cost of these fields, you very easily buy up a whole bunch of those. Combine them together. If you're the kind of guy that really likes to have big fields or bigger fields, you combine them together. My personal play style, I would probably end up leaving them all separate. Even if I ended up putting the exact same crop in all 8 of those fields, I would probably still just leave them all separate. So I can pass the road that goes up and over the levee area. Back there a little bit. Get a little bit of a change up in trees over here at this forest. Another one of our sell points. Can't figure out how to get in or around here. this is the path you need to take. It's going to be, again, not going to be bringing a massive semi through here with very much success, given the decorative objects that are kind of around that area. Somebody that has a hard time driving in Farm Sim, then you just might not want going up to that particular sell point. Make our way down here. We've already seen the horse area. Make our way down here to the dairy. Kind of looking around across over the kind of the rolling hills. That's the road that goes up to the sheep farm. Very active roads. Traffic is very active on the map. We have the dairy, milk sell point, and really great in and out access on all of these. Really well thought out, in my opinion, sell points. Not super big. I mean, there's guys that are going to want to come in here and play with equipment that is just too big for the map. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to get angry. They're going to be like, this map is awful because I can't roll in there with my semi-tanker of milk. Well, the map's not been designed for that, and there are plenty of options available to you to haul your milk in smaller quantities. We're at the barn. Got the barn sell point for a hay, straw, grass, and silage. Let's just see if these collisions. They do indeed. I like to see these have collisions. Sometimes bale stacks like this on maps don't. You just walk right through them. Would like to see a bit higher texture on these bales. Straw one's not too bad. This is kind of the, the very weathered bales. That's not too bad. But these square bales, that's pretty bad. I would say those square bale textures, they really kind of pull away from this sell point's overall attractiveness. Make our way down to the gas station, spinnery, and then we'll have to cut up the middle to the sawmill and the sugar mill. We are coming into another one of those little villages. Lovely details through here. We've got some vacant lots, overgrown. A little pond, had a little park area. Yeah, that guy is everywhere. He's got a brother who's just like him down at the shop. Where you spawn in, he's got three more brothers sitting on a bench. We have our gas station. And then this is the pig farm. Those three fields right there, or those four fields right there, 96, 97, 98, and 99. They could easily be merged together. Take out some trees, plow them up. There you go. This is the road we need to take. Take us up through a little field 156. It's like just a vacant lot that's been turned into grass. Innovation going on there. This is where you spawn in at. There's the three brothers. That's where you spawn. You first enter the map for the first time. Come on out for the last few. Here we have the sawmill. Little background sound with the sawmill. And we have our log sell point on the left, our wood chip sell point on the right. And then the final is going to be the sugar mill. Right here. The sugar mill is going to accept our probably sugar beets and sugar cane. Sugar beets, sugar cane. Now, while this map does have a seasons mask, it does not have any other seasons files with it. So there is no custom geo or anything within the map. So if you want to play this to real life, I think there are a few different Polish type or area geos in the mod hub. Guys, that is it. That is, well, I've now completely forgotten how you pronounce this map. Well, that is the map that I pronounced at the beginning of the video. Guys, let me know, what do you think? I kind of like it. I don't know if I'm going to have an opportunity to play it. I've got so many other things that I've already kind of committed myself to. But if I wasn't overly committed, then I would probably be putting some time in on this map. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is this a map you'd be looking to put some time in on? And until next time, happy farming. Be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.